opportunity to meet Mr. Amar, one of the founders at BluJ Aero. If you remember, we received an amazing live demonstration yesterday. We're going to do one again today. So we're hoping we could learn a little more about the aircraft that showed us yesterday. Could you tell us something more about this piece of invention?
Sure. So I think before I talk about SLS aircraft, just to give a brief on what BluJ is all about. At BluJ, we are trying to solve the problem of transportation, and we are mainly focused on regional transportation and of course urban transportation to some extent. So with that idea, we started with looking at VTOL aircraft which can carry larger payloads and longer ranges. That's what actually drived us towards building these things with new propulsion systems as well. So we are building our aircraft with hydrogen electric propulsion. So what you see here is two products that we are working on. One is BluJ Reach, which is going to be a fully cargo aircraft, autonomous cargo aircraft that can carry a payload of 100 kgs and over 250 kilometers of range. And similarly, we are working on design of a passenger aircraft, which is HOP, which can carry like 8 passengers over much longer ranges. Our target is 600 kilometers.
So what we seen yesterday was a cargo.
So what we have seen yesterday is basically a prototype of the company. So that is more like a technology demonstrator. That's a fully electric one that still doesn't have hydrogen in it. And what we wanted to showcase with that is all the kinds of technologies that we're building here. They are actually real. They are working. So we wanted to show before I say that in any VTOL development program, right? Typically, the first step is getting to prove your hover and landing. That is the most difficult phase. And that is what we wanted to actually test out in the real world on all our systems putting together. That's how we designed that prototype. And the prototype is now kind of has proven, I would say, a lot of about 80% of technologies that are required for the phases that we have tested on BluJ Reach. And there are some improvements we are making, and we are already making a second prototype, which even in the design and looks very close to BluJ Reach, the commercial version.
So is this aircraft capable of flying without a pilot?
This is going to be fully autonomous. So this will fly without a pilot, whereas this will have a pilot.
Is that because there might be passengers in this as well?
Yes, that is mainly again to do with regulations. Anything which can be flown fully autonomous and can be like not non-passenger autonomous and with a certain weight restriction can be certified as a drone in India. So we are taking that as a leverage to get to market faster, and that's how this whole thing came up, and this is autonomous because of that. Whereas this still doesn't have any autonomous regulations in place, and we believe while maybe 10-20 years down the line, passenger carrying autonomous aircraft will be real. But we think initially it will be piloted. But this will be autonomous capable, will be piloted.
So it has a capability, just not the regulations just don't permit.
Yes.
Okay, that's lovely. And how many passengers could it probably
Our
hold?
target is to get at least 8 passengers there, because we believe that's where the whole economics makes sense for which to scale up. But we don't want to be a company serving only the HMIs or for the well-off and those people. Right? We want to be like a mass market product.
So if you've probably obviously done a market research. What do you think is a break-even point? How many passengers do you need to break even for one journey?
I would say, so most of our economics are based on 80% occupancy. And today if you see aviation, anything around 70 to 80% is what they look at, right? So we consider 80% occupancy and design all our economics based on that. But we believe once this product gets out in the market and once the passengers see what it is, there is no going back, and we believe 100% occupancy is a possibility in that. But all the current market analysis and all our numbers are based on 80% occupancy.
You said 80% of your operations is more towards
80% occupancy.
But the cargo aircrafts, the cargo aircrafts, what are the destinations you're focusing on? Where are your key target market areas?
So in cargo aircraft, really like the real big market for us is going to be being able to transport day-to-day goods, and we wanted to enable like same-day delivery possible for majority of the country, 80% of the country. So that's where the whole market opens up for this. But even before going there, initially where we will be entering with is going to be areas where The use cases are not very price sensitive, and there is a need immediately where they're operating in other modes and they're struggling to operate in other modes. And at the same time, regulations might be easier to come to. So one big thing in aviation is regulations, always. So that has to be part of any program planning or part of any commercialization plan, right? So with that in plan, we will be initially getting to areas like Northeast and some use cases like oil and gas and medical. So we have been talking to people within those industries, and defense is one very big use case for us, near defense. So we expect market entry to happen with those use cases, but eventually it's going to be for minimal logistics for the day-to-day needs.
So definitely not the tier 1 and tier 2 cities, more towards your
It will start there, but the way we see this is going to be like a feeder service for aircraft, air cargo today from all these places that have air cargo hubs and larger airports to the tier 2, tier 3 satellite cities.
By when do you think your pilot projects will actually take off?
Pilots are going to happen this year. We have pilots starting very soon, starting from March, April, I would say. And we're planning to have a commercial product of BluJ Reach in 2026.
Have you tied up with certain logistic last mile partners?
Last mile partners, we are working with a few of them. Won't be able to name because it's under signing now. But we are signing up with people who can take care of last mile activities, because we will be focusing only on mid mile activities, right? So that is in place. And also we have signed up with the Hunch Mobility, who is one of the organizers of this event. And we also signed up with a company called Sri Maruti Logistics. And they are willing to do pilots for even regular cases now. And we are also in process with pilots with some PSUs and defense for doing pilots there as well.
Oh, that's lovely. March, April is the first, second quarter. That's
Yeah, because
quite
we're already
soon.
building the second prototype of this. And that prototype is mainly designed with all these pilots in mind. So we will be doing pilots very, very soon.
So how many of these aircraft will you have by the end of this year?
End of this year, not much. End of this year is going to be one prototype of this, and then we'll start making the commercial version of this. I don't see more than 2 aircraft at the end of this year, 2 or maybe 3. But the scale-up is planned post 2026, 2027. So the target there is by 29, 2030, we wanted to scale up to 500 aircraft per year.
Have you signed any MOUs for these?
For
For sourcing of these from any particular companies, logistic companies or so?
for the customers, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was telling, we signed an MOU with Hunch Mobility. We signed an MOU with Smile Logistics. And
Have
there
they signed up for any specific number of aircraft?
we do have, like for example, Hunch is evaluating purchase of some of these numbers, and even for passenger aircraft also. So those numbers, in fact, I think Hunch Mobility thing was in public as well. If you have seen. But with other players, it's more like a blanket MOU where we will work together on the use cases, identifying those use cases, and that gets into more detailed numbers.
Stage. I understand. So for this, what kind of plans do you have for the passenger aircraft? Will it have some kind of, what kind of seating are you looking at? You said 8 seats.
8
right?
seats.
So will there be an aisle, a specific?
It will be a single aisle. It will be seating like 2 people in one line. That's not going to be one single. So, but when you asked about seating arrangement, depending on the customers, if you're selling it for any companies that they want specific, like large corporations, right, or for personal uses, then seating arrangement will be depending on what they want. That is possible.
What about luggage? Will the luggage be accessible to the passengers, or like modern day aircraft, you can't really access?
It will be more like, I would say, not, if you ask me today, hard luggage will still may not be accessible. That is because of safety things. While you are taking all turns and all G loads, you don't want your luggage to be going here and there, right? So, but there will still be like place for iPads, laptops and all. But being just 8 passengers, and you're talking about anywhere from like 50 minutes to 1 hour kind of an average journey, we see it should not be a problem.
So since we're flying at lower altitudes, will we still have to switch off our mobile phones while in flight?
Not sure. Maybe never thought about that. Maybe point to think about. We have to talk to regulators.
Because I was wondering, like in a cab, when you're traveling by a regular cab on ground,
Right.
you probably even have free Wi-Fi.
No, that's a
service
good point. I didn't
nowadays.
think about it. Maybe we'll have to think about it. Yeah. But Wi-Fi will be good. Wi-Fi is not an issue. Because you get that through satellite. Or if you're talking about regular network communication, that is something to think about.
What about surcharge during peak hours? Have you all thought about your pricing points?
I think it's too early to say surcharge pricing and all, because ideally, as the vision for the company, we don't want to have surge prices because we didn't form the company with that vision. But as the whole business model unfolds, we'll have to see how it evolves. It's too early to say about surge pricing because, to be very honest, exact pricing itself will evolve over time, and that itself might look like a surge pricing initially.
So you've definitely done research on your pricing, and initially at the initial stage, what do you think people are willing to pay for something like this? Like if a normal cab fare costs me an X amount, do you think people are willing to go 10x more, 100 times? Sorry,
It's not going to be 10x for sure. We see this is going to be maybe on Uber Premium, if you say, which might be 1.5 to 2x of that. And we think there are enough people who are willing to pay. But the challenge there is if they're traveling alone on Uber, they're willing to pay. But let's say Uber, you can, like, 3 people can travel for the same price, right? Whereas here it will be per person. So as more people travel in a group, that price will increase. But these all things will again evolve over time. Initially, there will be definitely like a lot of people will be very happy to use this. Particularly, I would say the entry users are going to be from airport to city center, airport to satellite cities. So, for example, travelers from Delhi airport to Agra, right? It's a no-brainer for them. Those will be the initial use cases. And we anyway are not too focused on purely comparing this with Uber because we are not really looking at replacing, we are not too focused on urban, to be honest, because urban is definitely going to be a subset of what we are going to solve. And we are looking at regional. So when we can actually solve that regional problem, urban is something we can serve whenever there are peak hours, like you said, right? So
That makes sense. A lot of wonderful insights and a lot of things to ponder upon and actually think about what the near future holds for us in terms of commute. Thank you so much, Mr. Amar, for talking to us. It was wonderful having you on.
Cool.